Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm your host, Brian, joining with your other host,
Karen.
And Karen, what is this episode going to be about?
Seeing 10 years at the Subterranean.
Yeah, and joining them we had Keith Wallen and Kamenar. I really suck with that name. They said it a few times during their set, and I was like, I still didn't hear it all the way. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, so they had a banner up behind the drum kit, and so it said Kamenar. Oh, no, I just did it. Kamenar on it.
Kamenar.
But I couldn't see it, how it was. So I was trying to look at the top of the letters to see how it was written, and they did say it a few times, and I couldn't catch what it was.
Yep.
But I think it was when Keith Wallen came out that I heard, I caught on to what their name was.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Tickets for this real quick were $25 with $9.17 in fees. No tax included in that or whatnot. And this was at the Subterranean. I don't know if you said that or not, but it was at the Subterranean.
Yeah.
This was in the upstairs of the Subterranean. Yep. Still haven't seen a show at the Subterranean part of the Subterranean.
No, we haven't.
Which I don't know if it's actually in the basement. It might just be that ground
I think
floor
it's the
bar
ground
area.
Floor, yeah.
Because when we walked in, there was another show going on, and I think there were people in there for that show already. I think when we left, they were already gone. I couldn't remember.
So I actually looked. They had 3 shows that night, and that show must have got over at probably 9 or something, because the next act in the Subterranean started at 10.
Okay.
So I'm assuming they all left while 10 Years was playing. And
what time did we leave? Didn't we get done at 11 or
11:30? Yeah.
Yeah. So the other act would have been going on then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember seeing anybody in there, but I didn't honestly look that close, I guess. Either.
I didn't look when we left.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if there are people still there when we left or not.
I would assume so. That was supposed to go on until 2 a.m.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is in the Subterranean part that's in the basement. I don't know. We've only been to the one venue upstairs.
They only have the two stages, yeah.
Okay. I thought it was one in the basement as well, or maybe not.
I think that is the Subterranean part.
It's the ground
floor, yeah.
I would like to see a show at a different stage there, because we've only experienced that at that top level. So that's a little not disappointing, but
yeah.
I'd like to check out the other stages as well.
I looked for 3 months on their announcements, and there's nothing that I would be interested in to see down there. Sorry, I couldn't get that out, but yeah, I would too. We kind of thought maybe this would be down there.
Yeah, I don't know. We were looking at tickets a while ago, and I thought we saw that it was, but then when I went to go buy the tickets, it had said upstairs, specifically said upstairs.
Maybe it changed.
It may have, yeah.
Between seeing the announcement and actually going, so.
We got there decently early, so we could have stayed up at that top level and hung over the balcony. We didn't. Later in the night, I went up there to get my coat and then sort of watched from up there just a little bit. It's kind of a cool vibe, a cool view from up there. So maybe someday if we do go back, definitely try to prioritize standing up there to check out the show.
This time we could have. I don't know. I like being down.
I do too. I do like it.
So.
I just wanted, a different experience type thing.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, we'll probably do a 666 on Subterranean itself.
Yep.
About the venue. So not going to go super deep into this. This is our third show there or something like that. So
yeah, within a few months.
Yeah, all since November of 2024.
Yes.
And now it's only February. I'm really bad with years and whatnot.
February 2025. So.
But yeah, so I guess let's just dive straight into the acts then.
Yeah.
Going into this, I think we knew Keith Wallen.
Keith
Wallen was going to be there. We weren't sure about
Kamenar.
We didn't really know they were going to be there. Now we just thought it was the two bands. But no, sure enough, Kamenar was there. And Kamenar. Sorry, I'm going to fuck that up a lot more. But yeah, they were there. So we checked out their set, obviously. Started with sort of a 50s, 40s sort of song being played.
Oh, right.
And then that kind of cut off for air raid sirens.
Yeah, so it starts and then it has the sound and then the sirens come. And at first when that happened, before the sirens started, I was like, are we at a Vended show?
Vended does the same thing for their opening.
They do something similar, yeah.
They have the same sort of opening, and it's going back and forth like a radio and whatnot. It's a really cool opening.
It is cool, yeah.
And I like when bands have their set opening, and that's how you know, all right, the band's it's about to start. Metallica does that with Ecstasy of Gold, which is fucking awesome. As soon as that hits, you know what the fuck's gonna happen. So I really like bands that do that and stick to it, or it evolves over time.
Yeah.
But with that opening track and the air raid sirens, I got like, and when they started playing, I got like heavy Black Sabbath sort of vibes.
Oh, really?
When the song kicked in, like the bass kicking in a little bit, and I was like, "Fuck, this is good." I'm getting old school sort of Sabbath sound here. And then they start playing, and it's just sort of like an old school rock sound. I'm
Yeah,
like, this is fucking awesome.
I didn't really get a Sabbath sound, but I definitely got a rock sound. Like, definitely rock.
Yeah, at the beginning, like I said, when the bass started playing and when the air raid siren was going off, I was like, holy shit, this sounds a lot like Sabbath. This is a Sabbath cover. Are they pulling from something? I didn't know anything about this band. I like I said, I just got really heavy vibes. And there's one other point in the set as well where I got like another Sabbath vibe as well, and it was right around another like really strong bass bit in what they were doing. But yeah, I really liked their set. They like that old school rock sound. They had really good bass sound as well that was coming through. It was just the two of them, the guitar player and the drummer.
Yeah, so they're twin brothers.
Yeah, so he said that when he was up on stage, and I was like, cool. You're just saying like you're in a band, your brothers, like, you know, like sort of not actual brothers. And I thought he was sort of joking.
Yeah.
But he said it at the end, and I kind of like saw an image of them today online, and I kind of saw them walking around. Like, I guess I can kind of see the resemblance there.
Yeah.
But
I don't think they're identical twins.
No, I don't think so.
Because they do look different.
Yeah.
But their name is Sean and John Kamenar.
Kamenar, their last name. Yeah.
Wait, are we saying it wrong? Kamenar?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it is. It's, yeah.
Sorry if we're pronouncing it wrong. But
how's it spelled again? Like K something?
Kamenar.
There we go. Whatever that word is. Yeah. Kamenar, I think it's right.
Kamenar sounds better than Kamenar.
I think it's Kamenar. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah. No, I really got the old school rock vibe as well. And even looking at their Spotify today, and we listened to it a little bit as we we're setting up and everything, and you really get that like rock vibe sound.
Yeah, that like old school rock for sure. They don't have many songs on Spotify, right? You said they only have like 5?
So according to their little, I don't know, I think it's even their website, yeah, Kamenar Official, but that they started in 2015. But on Spotify, they only have 6 songs, and 1 is a cover.
That was just released. They played that at the show.
Yeah, so they have The Man, Crazy Life, Never Enough Time, Ways to Get High, Now That We Both Know, and then the Bad Flower cover of Animal.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all they have on Spotify. Now, everything has been released as singles since 2020, so I'm not sure what was going on in 2015. Because I don't know anything about them. So,
yeah. And
like you had alluded to, we didn't even know if they were going to be there, so.
Yeah, and that's very interesting because we mentioned Vended already. Vended was very similar in the way that they just released their first album this last summer in 2024. Or I guess almost fall in 2024. It was like August, September of 2024, whenever that is. But before that, they had a bunch of singles that they had released. They'd been around for a long-ass time. And I saw an interview or read an interview from like somebody in Disturbed, I think, or I can't remember who it was, but they're like, I think we're going to get away from writing albums and just do singles, because that's sort of the way the industry is moving, is just towards singles.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are releasing singles that then either are part of an album or not a part of an album. Like Put Your Back Into the Oar isn't on a Amon Amarth album, which is very frustrating for me. I love the album, so I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that, especially with streaming now, where people not everybody is going towards, you know, buying physical music or, you know, that sort of thing. So I can definitely see where singles make sense in a way, because when you're streaming, it doesn't really matter what album they're on.
Yeah.
I still obviously like albums because we buy a lot of them. And I think it's a good way to promote things and, you know, like go on tour for an album and stuff like that. Right. So.
Yeah. And as you said, we listened to it while setting up our shit and whatnot. And I didn't enjoy it as much as I did their live set. I thought their live set was so much better. I thought it sounded so much better. I thought the energy they had was fucking amazing on the set. Like, just bouncing all over the place and just having a great fucking time.
I thought it was good. I mean, I didn't mind the recorded version, but...
I didn't mind it. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I did like it. I preferred the live set over the recorded, for sure.
We see that a lot where we go back and forth. I think we have a whole 666 on do you listen to music? Do you not listen to music before seeing the band?
Yeah.
And this is one of the cases where they put on a great performance, so they caught your attention.
Yep.
That whole thing. So,
great fucking bass bits in there as well. I loved the bass sound that was coming out. I think it was like an effects pedal probably, because I did see him like playing the guitar and then like the bass sound and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then there were bits I think that were maybe on like a loop or something.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think it was necessarily a backing track. I do think it was just like an effects pedal and like a loop something or other going on there.
Yeah.
But that was the one thing that I was like, just get yourself a fucking bassist and boom, you're good to go.
Yeah.
The two band setup is kind of interesting. We see a lot of bands like that lately. Which they can have a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it. But at the same time, like, just get a bass player. Come on, like, bass is fucking awesome, and you had really good bass bits in your shit. So, like, let's get a bass player here.
Yeah. No, that's true. So we don't have like the actual set list that they played, but I think if I remember right, they played 4 songs, and then they played that Animal cover by Bad Flower, and then the guitarist ran. So I don't know which one's Sean and which one's John, but one of them, or the guitarist, ran up the stairs because there's like a little spiral staircase by the back of the stage. And I'm assuming I saw like during the Bad Flowers song that he whispered into the drummer's ear.
So I saw that too, and I was like, "Shit, does he have to go to the bathroom or something?"
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So he's like, "Hey, I can't hold it no more. I gotta fucking go." So
I was like,
"You're gonna do a drum solo here."
I was like, "Dude, you have like 8 minutes left. Like, can't you hold it?" But whatever. So yeah, the drummer does a drum solo and then says a little bit and then like starts another drum solo, and then the guitarist comes down with drumsticks to finish it out.
So I don't know if he like forgot the drumsticks upstairs. Like, shit, I got to go grab those real quick. I don't know if it was. I have to go to the bathroom. But at the time, I was definitely like, he's got to piss really bad. So he's like, I can't hold this. But then he did come down with the drumsticks, and he like played the drum a little bit, and then boom, set was over.
So I didn't know any of their catalogs. I didn't realize that they only had a few songs on, or at least on Spotify. I don't know what else they have like not released. But I immediately thought like, do you not have enough songs to cover a 30-minute set? Like, because the last 8 minutes was the drumming bits.
It wasn't 8 minutes.
It was 8 minutes.
Was
yes.
it? Okay.
Yep. It started at 22 and they ended at like 29. So I guess 7 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. I liked the drum solo. I do wish it was like in the middle of their set and not like the very end. But then that also did remind me of 68, the first time we saw them, where the drummer's going off and just fucking beating away at shit.
Yeah. And that is technically the end of their set too.
He grabbed they start taking it apart piece by piece, and the drummer just has like a snare and like a crash cymbal or something that he can play with at the end.
Yeah.
I don't think they did that this time. I think they just played and they ended their. I can't remember. I think they just played the drum solo together and then boom, we're done. Good night.
For
last night
Kamenar. Yeah. They just ended. Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about?
No, that's why I was like,
really
when they were doing that, I was like, oh, they're going to do the same thing 68 did, but they didn't. They just sort of ended it.
Yeah. I did like how, so because it was just the two of them, and I'm assuming Keith Wallen had their drum kit and everything set up as well behind this, but in the middle of the stage, they had their backdrop up instead of like at the back. So it was like right behind the drummer.
Yep.
And I thought that worked out really well to not have like an open stage for two people, and it kind of brought it more intimate for the two people, for enough room for the guitarist to move back and forth, but then the drum to sit there as well.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this as well with the Mother Grave show. Of that show, every band had all their shit except for the drum kit up on the stage and left it very like you don't have a lot of room. But yeah, exactly. They probably had. I can't remember if they had Keith Wallen's shit set up behind it or not, but yeah, like it definitely like added that little characteristic to like their set as well.
Yeah, it made it like very like intimate, like it wasn't like a cluttered stage or anything like that. It just made it seem clean and
and we've seen other bands, especially like younger bands that like have their like little backdrops and shit they like pull on and off, and even like bigger bands like we were at the Frozen Soul show or later last year. And they had a bunch of their shit that they like pull up as well, like to just add to the stage setup, the stage aesthetics and whatnot, and just as you said, keep it clean and whatnot. So that is really cool to see that band, like younger bands, do that as well. Like we're starting off and don't necessarily have a lot of money for a lot of effects, but this is a cheap effect that actually adds a lot to their set for sure.
Yep. That's not what I was meaning. But.
No, I know that's not what you're meaning, but
okay.
like that's how I take it when I see that. I don't necessarily like, oh, it's clean. I see it more of like it's a cheap promotional thing that adds to your set, that adds to your stage presence.
Okay.
So I don't really have anything else to say. I really liked their set, as I said a lot. I like them
too. I think that they toured last year with Keith Wallen.
They did say that, yeah.
So it does seem like all these bands have connection, which makes sense. I mean, to be on tour together, but because they're from Tampa.
Oh, they did say that a lot. Yeah, they're from Tampa.
I think Keith Wallen and 10 Years is from Tennessee, if I remember the conversation correctly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Which is kind of cool because at first when they got up there, if they wouldn't have said Tampa, I would have just assumed they were from Chicago because they weren't on the bill.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It would be like, oh, you got a local band to come. That's really cool.
Yeah. But, I guess I would have thought the same thing. I guess maybe not. It was definitely regional, not from Tampa for sure.
Yeah.
But definitely in the area.
Yeah, which is interesting to get a band from Tampa to be on a Midwest tour.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess I don't know where all 10 Years is going. But
I don't know what this tour's run is.
I think I saw in their announcement that only the first set of shows, like 6 shows or 8 shows or something, has Keith Wallen and Kamenar on it. So I don't know what the
next Choose Your Venture is.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I only saw it on Instagram when I was like, look, I think that's how I found Kamenar's name is from Instagram.
Gotcha. But yeah, like it's nothing else really to say about Kamenar, just other than like it was fucking great. I love their energy. I love the sound, and I really want to see him again, and hopefully next time with the bass player too.
Yeah, I can't see what happens, like where they go. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
But then next we have Keith Wallen. And we do have a set list for him. We do.
Yeah, let's start with the set list, and then we'll talk a little bit. So they start with Blackout, Nemesis, Don't Fall Asleep, Crush Me, Strings, Fractured, Crows, Infinity, The Wolf, Dream Away, and then ended with Headspace Holiday.
So going into this, I thought it was going to be some sort of country-ish act.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's because just Keith.
Like Keith Urban?
Yeah, I don't know if that's what it was or what. But they come out, and it's definitely rocky for sure. I wasn't a big fan when they first came out and started playing. I was like, it's fine. It's not great. I'm kind of over this already.
Yeah.
As soon as they started. I think you had told me you were okay with it at the beginning. You didn't think it was great, but it was fun. But then after a little bit, you got tired of it pretty quick.
So all the songs. So first of all, Keith Wallen is the guitarist for Breaking Benjamin as well.
Which we did not know until he said.
Right. So how did you remember this better than I do? But how did he say it? Like, who knows who I am or something? And like you raised your hand.
It was something like, who's never heard of me before?
Oh, okay.
And then I raised my hand. I didn't cheer or anything because, again, I wasn't like a big fan of the music. I was like, I'm here. This is cool. It's fine. It's live music. I'm not liking it necessarily. So I just put the horns up and sat back there. And there were like 3 other people in front of me that did the same thing.
I only saw a few people too.
But nobody cheered anything. Everybody just like threw the horns up and whatnot. And then he's like, oh, shit. So everybody knows me. It's a family reunion, huh? Because I think he was here in Chicago like last year or something. He said he was around here not long ago.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Because he's like, who was at that show? And somebody was like...
in Bloomington.
Yeah, that's what it was. So, yeah, and I think that's when he said, like, if you don't know me or blah, 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 I'm, from Breaking Benjamin, but here's my solo shit. And then after he said that, I was like, oh, I can kind of hear the Breaking Benjamin sound, but it's not as good as Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah, so that's where I wanted to say all that part before saying what I was going to say about the music. So all the songs, in my opinion, all the songs sound like the slow melodic songs that Breaking Benjamin play. Like they might have like a few in their concert.
Yeah.
And then, but like all of his set sounds like that. And so it was okay for the first couple songs, but then after it was just the slow, like melodic parts. Like there's the guitar and there's all that, the metal rocky bits or whatever. But I just kind of got over it quick.
Yeah, there were a few rocky moments as well. Yeah. Not necessarily all the slower stuff like from Breaking Benjamin, but there definitely was a lot of that slower sort of stuff. To me, it was just very, I don't want to say repetitive, but it was nothing unique.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's what I'm saying. Like it's all sounded the same, and at least the songs that he played, his vocal style is more melodic vocals.
Yeah,
and it does remind me of like a country, like not country as in like got my truck down the road at the cornfield, that kind of singing. It's more of like the just clean vocals, that sort of thing. I mean, which is fine. Like people can have clean vocals and everything, but it just seemed the same. Every song sounded the same. Everything was just the same.
But I think the difference between you and me is like you, at least when we were talking last night, that you enjoyed it earlier and you got bored with it as it went on.
Yeah.
Where I got bored with it right away, but then as it went on, I was like, all right, I'm kind of getting into it now. It did take me a long while to get into it, but I did toward the end there.
That's good. I mean, I'm glad that normally you're the opposite, where like if you aren't into something, you're just done.
Yeah.
Like, but there wasn't ever a time listening to Keith Wallen's set where I was like, can this just be over yet? Which is weird because sometimes that's how I get.
Yeah.
I was enjoying the music. It was just kind of like, it does get repetitive though. So, but it was interesting to me just before we started recording. I did look up Keith Wallen on Wikipedia because that's the research that we do. And it does say on there that he started his solo stuff in like June of 2014. Which is interesting to me because like I didn't know that he had solo stuff out there before the show.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was before this show.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And we were even at dinner before this talking about like Randy and other front people, right? There's not a whole lot of bands where we know every single member of the band. You know, the first one we usually gravitate towards is who's sort of the front person of the band, which is typically the singer, but not always, right? So like Zakk Wylde, for instance, not necessarily the singer who's always going to be there, but like, boom, I know who he is just by like his look and his sound and whatnot, right?
That's true.
So same thing with like Breaking Benjamin. I'm assuming Benjamin is the lead.
Yeah, Ben's the lead vocalist.
And guitar, like it's rhythm guitar and whatnot. I think he plays guitar every now and then, but like, could I name all the other members of the band? No, I can't.
No.
They're not a band that I'm like a super big fan of and I follow. I enjoy their shit. I listen to their shit. But I'm not like a super fan where I was like, I know all the members of the band. And even bands that I am a big fan of, I can't necessarily name all the members of the bands.
Yeah. On the mark, can you name one person? Jonas.
And, I can't name any of them, I don't think.
I think the vocalist name is Jonas.
Is it? Okay.
Not Johannes, that's Avatar.
That's Avatar.
But Jonas.
Yes. But that's another good example. I don't think I know any of the members of Amon Amarth. I fucking love Amon Amarth.
Yeah.
So...
But yeah, it is. I mean, that is something like. But once he said it, I was like, "Oh yeah, you do." Like I can picture it because I think when we were at Tinley Park, he was the guitarist that was closest to us because they stood in a row, so they stayed in one spot, and I think he was the guitarist closest to us.
I think Crows is about the time I started like really getting into the set, which is about halfway through. What was that? Like the 8th track or something? The 7th track out of 11. Fractured right before that, I remember listening to that and being like, this is a fucking weird song, and like not in a good way, just as like the structure of the song I did not like. We listened to it a little bit before this, and I didn't pick up on what I was picking up last night, but there was something about it last night that I did not like. Yeah,
so I was thinking about it when we were listening to it now. Last night, it started with just like the vocals, and I think the guitar, maybe it was like a very diluted portion of the song.
Okay.
Like, and then it kind of like that goes through maybe like a verse, and then it like goes into it. Where I don't remember that on the recorded version. Yeah, where I think the record is just the instrumentals and the vocals together.
Maybe that's what it was, because there was also like a part in the middle of the track, and I think at the end of the track, either the middle or the end or both. I can't remember exactly, but it had that same sort of like structure that went to it. Like I think you're right. It started off a certain way, and then they recalled that same sort of structure or like component somewhere else in the song, and it just did not feel right to me when I was listening to it live. So that was like, I do remember, and I didn't even text you because I was trying to remember, this song was fucking weird. But then Crows came in, and then everything after that, that's when I was like, fuck it, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's not great music. It's not music I'm not necessarily going to hear on the radio.
Yeah.
but it does feel like very radio type music.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure that they would play this on the radio.
I think they want them to, but I don't think I've ever heard any of his stuff. And if he's been around for almost
we don't listen
decade,
to the radio that often, though.
Every time we go to Iowa, we go listen to it, and I've never heard his stuff on there. So
yeah, because they play the same 6 songs over.
They do, with maybe like 1 or 2 new tracks.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just an off time when we go there, and he doesn't have something new out. But yeah, I don't know.
He did mention that Strings was the new single that he released.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in all, it was fine. Yes, I wasn't a fan of the music. The stage presence was fine. The banter between the crowd and back and forth was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a really small venue, so like especially with the people that are close to the stage and stuff, like, and I noticed like one person up in the balcony was like leaning over and like really into every single song, which was really cool to see. So I think this whole setting of being at Subterranean would have been really cool if you're either a really big Breaking Benjamin fan or you do really like his solo stuff.
Yeah.
And you can be very close and personal.
Definitely very personal, very intimate for sure. And like I said, he was having fun. He was interacting with the crowd, which was a lot of fun. They were interacting back. So I was happy to see it. I just, the music for me didn't resonate with me. It wasn't something that I gravitated towards.
Yeah.
But I respected it. I enjoyed it. It was fun to go see. Not something I'm going to necessarily listen to again, but it is on the playlist now. So I did put that on shuffle today and listen to it. So this stuff comes up and I listen to it.
Yeah, maybe we'll get more, like, the more we listen to it, the more it'll grow on us, sort of thing.
Yeah.
One thought that I did have last night, and I just wonder what your thought is on this, but I wonder what it's like for somebody like Keith Wallen, who's played arenas, potentially stadiums, depending on who they're touring with. I don't think Breaking Benjamin would sell out a stadium, but if they're touring with somebody who does, or like big festivals and everything like that, to go down, I would say go down, not like being like, oh, now I'm playing this little venue, but like to play at that level and then go to playing a 300-person venue.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing for like Corey. He did the same thing with his solo when he came and went to, not Aragon, it was...
Where did he come? Riviera,
right.
And that was not sold out by any means.
That was not sold out, right.
There was like barely any tickets sold.
It's a very similar concept of like, people just aren't into my solo stuff necessarily, but there's enough people in there to like make me tour. And honestly, I just like making music, so I'm going to go do that. So I think that's more of anything I'm there to make the music and I'm going to put it out there. And if it resonates with people and people want to come out and check it out, awesome. If not, it's not going to stop me from making music. Yeah. So I think that's what it is for him. That's
the part that I was going to go to, is I think it is really like I'm doing what I like to do. I like to play music. I like to make music. I like to sing music, all that stuff. So it's just going like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do no matter what level it's at. So that's where I was going to go to. I just wondered what your thoughts
and then
were.
he'll take some pieces and go to Breaking Benjamin and he'll make new music with that, or he'll have his own stuff. They're like, that doesn't really fit our vibe, doesn't fit our scene, not what we're about right now. You can go ahead and use that riff for yourself, or use that structure, that song for yourself. So it's another way, just be creative and whatnot. So I think that's you said, that's what it is more than anything.
Yeah.
But for me, it didn't resonate. It was cool to see it, but it didn't resonate with me.
Yeah, which could be. I mean, you brought up Corey Taylor. I think a couple times last night when we were there, I kept thinking like, well, Corey Taylor has some different type of music that he released, and it's interesting. It's not like, if you think of Corey Taylor as like either Slipknot or Stone Sour, it's like, this is a little bit different than those things.
It's definitely different than both of those. Like, Stone Sour is definitely different than Slipknot, and his Corey Taylor solo stuff is definitely different than, Slipknot or Stone Sour. Yeah. So like, there's a different vibe there. For me, Keith Wallen was very, very similar to Breaking Benjamin, which wasn't enough of a differentiation between his solo stuff and Breaking Benjamin.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
So for me, I would prefer Breaking Benjamin, because that stuff is, to me, just a little, I like that better. Where it's very similar. It's just not quite as good or as enjoyable for me personally.
Yeah, I guess Till would be a better example than Breaking Benjamin, where Till sounds like Rammstein.
Yeah, Till is just redoing Rammstein shit. It's Rammstein again, basically.
Yeah. So this could be very comparable to that, where it's like just redoing the slower Breaking Benjamin songs.
But the difference there for me personally is I love Rammstein and I love Till shit because it's just basically more Rammstein. So
I get what you're saying.
But yeah, that's about it for Keith Wallen. It was still fun.
Yeah, and it was still live music. We were still out of the house. We weren't sitting. We've been doing a lot of sitting on the couch recently, so it was
in
nice
these colder, wintry months. For sure.
It's hard. January and February is so hard in Chicago.
But yeah, it was fun to get out, like you said, and just like I'm glad we did that instead of not going out. So
agreed.
And it was $25, $30, so not that bad really for 3 bands.
We've been to cheaper shows.
Yeah, but then we get to our headliner, 10 years.
Yes.
Why don't you read off the set list for us?
Okay, so they started with Optimist, Novocaine, Waking Up, Rise, The Shift, Heart Shaped Box, which is a Nirvana cover, Fix Me, and they had 2 acoustic songs, So Long Goodbye and Through the Iris, and then Gravity, Beautiful, Chasing the Rapture, Now Is the Time, Wasteland, and they ended with Shoot It Out.
Yeah, no actual encore either. Like
nope.
Just
it was over.
We did our set. We're done. Yep. Let's go. There were people cheering for one more song, but no more songs.
Yep. Which is good. I don't like encores. So
you hate encores, yes.
Just be done.
So before we started doing this podcast, if we asked you or anybody, we talked about our first shows, we would always say your first show was Green Day.
Yes.
But then when we started doing this and trying to look back and remember, because we did our first episode was about our first shows, it turns out we were wrong. Your first show was Disturbed, El Nino,
and 10 Years.
I completely forgot about 10 Years.
I forgot about 10 Years. Yes, I did too. It was August 30th, 2025.
At Valor Ballroom in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yes.
I loved that venue growing up.
I know. They remodeled it, so we do need to go back and see what it's like, because I have a vision of the stage and stuff, but other than that, like, I don't really remember it. Oh, and then the stairs. I think you had to walk upstairs to get into it, didn't you?
No. Yeah, I think you may have.
Yeah.
You had to walk down that long hallway, which brought you to the back of the venue.
Yep. Yeah.
The ballroom floor.
Yep. So 10 Years, I think they may have been playing when we walked in.
Oh, really? I don't remember that. Yeah. I don't remember anything from that show, honestly.
Okay. I do remember you got me to go because of El Nino. I started listening to them, and then once I heard Disturbed, it was all over.
And that was your favorite band for, like, the longest time.
Yes, for, like, 16 years, probably.
Yeah.
So, but we saw 10 Years again in 2022 at RockFest. Or no, 2023, excuse me.
Yeah, 2023 RockFest.
At RockFest in Cadet, Wisconsin. And it was kind of like a moment of like, holy shit, I forgot about them. Like, what have they been up to? You know, that sort of thing.
I completely forgot about them as well. I think I have one of their CDs somewhere in like this collection.
One of the 2005
Yeah,
CDs.
The one that has that like Wasteland on it.
Yeah.
Which is like the only song of theirs I honestly know. I don't really listen to their shit that much. But I do remember that Cadet show, that RockFest show. They were like the first opener or the second opener. They were very early in the day at the main stage.
Yes, yep.
And we just kind of hung back and watched their set and like, they're actually pretty good. I really like them. Yeah. How the fuck did we not like, why have we not listened to more of them?
Right. Well, I think at that time, like, I thought maybe they hadn't done anything since
I thought the same thing.
2005.
I thought the same thing.
Consistently every like 2, 3, 4 years, they're releasing new music album. And new stuff's coming out, and like it's from what I see from Wikipedia and everything, like never like broke up. I mean, they changed members and stuff, but otherwise it's been, continuously together and stuff. So
it's really hard to keep every member of the band going. Like we were in Ireland at the Irish Museum, and the tour guide was talking about U2 like is the longest running band that's done that. But typically it's like 1 or 2 members drop off. They might come back. They might not come back. It's
People
always a
pass away.
Rotating thing. Exactly. Yeah. So like being like, no, the band is these 4 members and only these 4 members. Like there's very, very few bands like that.
Yeah.
But no, I was in the same boat you were of like, I thought they kind of like, they weren't big. So they stopped touring. They stopped making music. And I thought Cadet was like their coming around type thing, like their resurgence. Because we'd said this before, we're kind of in that golden era, in my opinion, at least for us, of 20 years, like all this shit coming out 20, 25 years after we started listening to this shit back in the day. So now it's like nostalgia for us, like, holy shit, Disturbed's doing their 25th anniversary.
Yeah. Like last year would have been their 25th year anniversary because they started in 1999. So
yeah, Shadows Fall is coming back with shit. Like there's Chimera's starting to do shit again. So it's like it's really kind of cool for us for that nostalgia purpose. And that's what I thought, RockFest was for 10 years is they're starting to come back around. But no, it turns out they've been around fucking making shit and doing shit.
Yeah, they've just been doing shit this whole time and we just haven't caught a show or haven't caught on that they're coming.
And I'm trying to figure out why that is. And honestly, I think it's radio. Like, they sound very similar to those sort of radio rock, radio metal type bands we listen to, or we like Pop Evil, 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, Shinedown. Like, they all have a very, very similar sound to them, and especially that Wasteland song.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
I think that's like their, I don't want to say their main song. They may have like a different song, but that's the main song that I'm always like, holy shit, like I forgot about them, or holy shit, this song. Like I can sing that song, which is crazy to think back from 2005. I can sing a song that I haven't heard.
Yeah, and it's when I hear it, every time I hear it, like even last night when I heard it, I was like, wait, this is your fucking song? I knew they had a song like that.
So I think I'm the same way where I don't think that's 10 years.
Yeah.
Like if I hear it like on a radio or, anything like that, it's like I don't connect the two together.
No, I think that to me sounds very similar to like a Breaking Benjamin song to me.
I could see that.
So I'm like, when I hear them, I'm like, oh, it's Breaking Benjamin. I don't even look at the name or anything. I just move on.
Yeah.
But I don't remember ever hearing that on the radio. I don't know where I hear that song. I hear it a decent amount.
Isn't it on the radio?
Is it? I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Because I've heard it a lot, and I don't know.
Same.
How?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
same. Maybe it is the radio.
It has to be on the radio.
When we're just driving through and it's on, we just assume.
Yeah.
And like we get out of the car before they tell us like who's playing that song or something.
Or half the time they don't say it anymore because it's all syndicated and just on a loop.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know. But when that came on, it's like, oh shit, I love this song. That's your song. Fuck, I keep forgetting that. And honestly, in a year from now, I'm going to forget again.
Yeah.
I might not. Maybe this time it might stick with me finally, but it's very possible that it might like not stick with me again. Yeah,
I was going to look. Fix Me is also a song that I recognize, and I swear it was on the radio when we were in Iowa, like the last time.
You did say that. I don't remember, but maybe it was.
Like, I have a vivid memory of hearing the song and then being like, who is this? And then like, that was one of them where on the radio sometimes they'll have like the name at the bottom or whatever, and I was like, 10 years, really? Like this is them?
Maybe. But to me also like Pop Evil's a very similar band like that where they have a little bit more stuff on the radio, not as much more, but 3 Days Grace, Shinedown, and Breaking Benjamin for sure, like they're your big three of that sort of group I mentioned earlier where they have all their fucking shit on the radio and it's always being played over and over and over. To a fault, I would say.
Oh, yeah. If you hear the same song 3 times in a day.
It gets very repetitive, very frustrating, and that's one of the reasons we don't like radio. But, again, we do listen to it when we go back home. So it made me think that it's that wise. Most of their shit or some of their shit not on radio as much as those other bands. And that's why we haven't really thought of them or heard of them.
Maybe.
Type thing. Or it's just something we haven't gravitated towards. We've gone on the harder side of things, like Amon Amarth, Cradle Filth, shit like that. Like the harder side of things.
This definitely isn't something I grab. Like, I have to be honest. Like, when I heard them at RockFest and then even last night, I was like, I like their music. And I think I would definitely like to listen to it and, like, get into it more. But generally when I want music, it's like, I want I'm going to kick you in the face music. Yes, I don't want melodic.
Right.
What do they call like rock metal music?
Yeah. Like the radio rock type shit, radio metal shit.
Yeah.
No, I'm the same way. Like I want to have my teeth fucking kicked in. I want somebody yelling at my face when I'm listening to the music. Like I'm having a stressful day. I want to fucking let loose a little bit and have somebody fucking yell at me basically in my ears.
I need to de-stress, so I need some heavier music.
But I do also like the slower side of things.
Yeah. It's so hard.
The rockier side. But what I typically gravitate then is old classic rock is where I go to.
Oh,
there are times where I'll like throw on 3 Days Grace because again, like, all right, cool, I'm comfortable here. I know this. Shinedown every now and then as well.
Yeah.
Not as much Breaking Benjamin. Honestly, I do like Breaking Benjamin. It's just not as much as those other two.
Yeah, generally it'll come up on a playlist. Like if I listen to a playlist of that time era, then it'll come up. But
with that said, I really, really, really love these shows.
Yeah.
Going to these shows live is so much fun because I've said this before when I go to like the heavier metal shows, I do feel like there's sort of not as much anymore, but definitely growing up and even a few years ago, I did feel like there's sort of a uniform you have to wear, a sort of presence you have to have when you go to these shows in terms of like an attitude of like, I need to be a big tough guy, I can't have fun, I can't smile type thing. Because that's what the metal community does, but no, it's not. It's not like that.
No, I was gonna say it's not like that, but I can see where you get that connotation.
But when I go to these type of shows, it's more of like, fuck it, I'm just here to have fun. I don't give a shit about anything anyway. And like that's how my attitude has changed, definitely towards metal shows as well. I just show up and like, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want, and like whatever.
Yeah.
So it has changed, but definitely back in the day, there was sort of that like. Not stigma, I want to say, but there's definitely this in the back of my head of like, do I fit in? Am I like, do I belong here type thing?
Yeah.
Especially like a Cradle of Filth show or something. That's more of like the black metal, death metal-y type thing, right? Whereas like, this doesn't really fit me. I don't know what's going on.
Why doesn't it fit you?
I don't know. I just always felt weird at those shows. Even though I didn't feel weird. I just, when I went in and walked in, that's sort of how I was.
I see.
But here it's like, I don't have that at all. And regardless of that, the music's just fun. Like I just show up and I'm like, I'm gonna have fun.
It is fun. Like so, we've talked about it when we did like the Pop Evil 3D. Well, 3 Days Grace is a little bit different. I know a lot of their songs, but like even this show, like when those couple songs did come on that I remember, and like it's like it's kind of this like, oh shit, like I know that song, like that's fun, sort of thing. So that is enjoyable for these types of shows where it's like music we don't listen to every day, but it's something that we can pick up on and like start singing or dance around a little bit or whatever.
And honestly, the only reason we really did go to this show, not the only reason, but the main reason was because it is 10 years and it was your first show you ever saw.
My first band that I ever saw.
Because I think they were the first opener, right?
They were, yeah.
So like, this is your very first band you ever saw live.
Yes.
Now we get to see them 20 years later and see them live again. Don't remember shit from that first show.
I don't remember their set from the first show. And I was hoping that there would be a moment of something where I would be like, holy fuck, I remember that. Or, like something like that.
It's gotta be that Wasteland.
And, well, so that came out in 2005.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm assuming it was their single that they were like touring on.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So it has to be that song. But there wasn't anything that happened during the show or any certain comment or anything like that where I was like, holy shit, I remember that. And I was kind of... I don't know. I think I was hyping it up a little bit on the whole. This was the first band I ever saw live, and I wanted it to be this magical thing that happened, and nothing happened.
But do you remember do you remember anything about Disturbed or anything about El Nino other than like falling in love with Disturbed? Do you remember any specifics about that show?
No, not necessarily. So I can picture Disturbed on the stage. However, I'm not sure if it's that show or if it was the one that was supposed to be at the Waterworks that got moved to Vallear.
Yep.
That's the show I think it might have been. But I do remember, didn't we have our friends go with us to the El Nino show?
I can't remember if they went to that one or that Valor, the Waterworks one. Because I remember going with friends and we couldn't find a parking spot and a friend's like, stop here, and ran into somebody's house and was like, can we just here's $20, can we park in your driveway?
That must have been the second Disturbed show.
That's what I thought.
Because I didn't know any Disturbed music, and I remember listening to Land of Confusion on the way there.
And he went into the pit and broke his glasses, and I remember David being up there like, it's Africa fucking hot in here. This is insanely fucking hot in this venue. It was so hot.
I mean, if you think about like how many people can be at Waterworks Park, I mean, that's where Knotfest Iowa was this year. And they put all those people into Vallear, which is teeny.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was going to say that I could picture Disturbed on the stage, but I think it's from that second show. But I do remember on the first show I ever went to, and I don't know, I mean, obviously it probably wasn't during 10 years, maybe El Nino, but probably Disturbed, like a moment of being scared of like the crowd, which we've talked about before. I think we have a whole podcast on like going to shows and stuff like that and like being scared of the crowd or scared of the music or whatever the case
Especially if you're like right by the pit when they open up, and we were definitely like always by the pit.
Yeah, we were always in the center. Like,
and I would always like, it's kind of funny because we've, as you said, we have talked about this, and it's kind of funny and kind of enjoyable to watch other younger couples because they do the exact same shit we do.
I know.
I would throw my arms around you.
Yeah, and, like you would like hold onto me like on my shoulder, like the whole time. And you would like
reach back and grab my belt or something.
Yes,
or like, grab my leg. Like, don't fucking let me go.
Like I would hold on to you like I was like a scared little kitten or something. I don't know. Yeah, And I remember that from that show because that was my first, I mean, we've said it multiple times now. It was my first show I'd ever been to. I didn't know, like a Disturbed, an early 2000 Disturbed crowd. Now Disturbed crowds are blah. But,
compared to everything else you've seen.
Compared to other things that I've seen, yes. So, but yeah, anyways, that's what I remember from that show.
Yeah. Like I said, I do love seeing that when I've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
You'll see somebody do that and it's like, they're clearly at one of their first shows, if not their first.
Or like, I brought my girlfriend to the show.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. That's how you drug me into this.
It does make me smile when I see that and like, you're in for a life-changing event. That you're going to be at more shows hopefully real soon.
Yeah. Hopefully it sticks with them and it's not like I'm never doing that again sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But let's go back to the Subterranean show that we just saw last night. One thing that I did notice was the crowd was very calm.
I noticed it was an older crowd as well.
Yeah, you said that. You went upstairs and you saw, like, you looked down, you're like, we are not the oldest people here. Normally we are at a lot of shows.
The average age was definitely above us, I would say.
So a lot of shows lately were the old people. But the vocalist was saying multiple times, like, you're at a rock show, like, make some noise, or...
Oh, I didn't get those vibes. I don't remember that at all.
Oh, he said it constantly, because, like, it would be dead silence.
So, all right, maybe, but also, like, when, like, Wasteland came on, there were a couple other songs when they came on. The crowd was actually pretty vocal.
No, I was going to say...
very loud. It was awesome to see, like, the crowd, like, get that engaged with it and that loud.
Yeah, so before Wasteland... So, there were a few songs where they did sing louder than the band playing. I mean, it's a very small room, so, I mean, it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
But right before Wasteland came on, he said, okay, I know you guys like to sing, so...
Okay.
Make sure, like, I want to hear your voices. But between a lot of songs, it was like, you're at a rock show, like, come on, make some noise, like, have some energy. So, but it was a Sunday night. The crowd was older.
I don't know. I thought the crowd was fine. I thought the crowd was, it was fine. It was an okay crowd. It wasn't like the rowdiest crowd by any means.
Oh, no. This wasn't the music for that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I mean, it wasn't like our first show at Subterranean where we were almost punched in the face multiple times.
But a hardcore show, definitely different than a hardcore show. And again, like the crowd was when it came time to sing and they knew the songs, they sung and they sung loud and it was awesome.
No, that was awesome. Yeah. But we did, and this is going to go on my number one merch purchase of the year so far.
Oh.
We did get, so you went up to go to the restroom.
And drop my coat off.
And drop your coat off at coat check. I wore a sweater because it was like 47 degrees in Chicago in February. So I
wore my coat because it's like 47 degrees in February and it can get a lot colder a lot quick.
Yes, but I had long sleeves and I was good. But anyways, so we walk up the stairs. Well, before the show, we went to dinner and I saw they had an announcement for Chicago show. And it's like this awesome picture of like a hazy, like swampy house with a tree and everything and like just a haze over it with lights on in the house and stuff. And I was just like, this is an awesome announcement for Chicago. Turns out that was their limited edition poster for the show. I think they had 10, right?
Yeah, 10 of them. Yep, 10. We got number 4 out of 10, I think.
Yeah, so too bad we didn't get a different number, but it's okay. But anyways, so immediately, like when I saw it, I was like, I'm buying one of those. And so you came out of the bathroom. I'm like, I'm getting a poster. So we checked your coat and everything and we got it. So we'll put a picture up because it's really, really awesome. And I don't know what other what other posters they have for cities or if they did any other city poster.
I assume they do. I'm assuming they've done them for the other stops as well. I kind of want to go back and check out all of them. Yeah. That is one thing I do really like about 10 years is their art is really cool.
Yes. Even like the tour announcement was really cool with like a woman. I think it's like an album art or something with like the roots around her head and stuff. Their art is so cool.
Yeah, I think the one with like Wasteland, I think the CD we have, if it's the one I'm thinking of, has like a bird on it or something.
I think so.
It's like a hummingbird or something like that.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's awesome. Like the poster is really awesome. The art is really awesome.
Yeah, their merch was really cool, and they also had like skate decks that were really cool.
Oh, they did, yeah. I saw some people taking those home. So
I saw a couple people.
Really cool.
I think they sold out of those.
Probably.
They probably were a limited number. And also merch is the reason we knew there were 3 bands. They had 3 merch tables set up.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, this isn't necessarily the music I gravitate the most, but these are the shows I really tend to have the most fun at. I think the Pop Evil one a couple years ago is still like up there on my list.
I know.
I had a blast
like
at
one
that
of the
show.
top shows, yeah.
And this, I had just as much fun at this show as well. And it's definitely something I'm gonna 10 years. I'm gonna keep an eye on now.
Yeah.
A lot more. Like I'm not gonna go 20 years
Right. Without seeing them.
without seeing them again. We saw them at RockFest. I thought the same thing at RockFest. Like I really like these guys. This is a lot of fun. I want to see them more, and then we didn't really follow it, and now I might actually start following them a little closer.
I hope to see them at a bigger venue next time. I'm not. We've only been to Subterranean 3 times. I'm not the biggest fan of it, so being at a different style of venue might be really cool. But this wasn't sold out, so I don't know how ticket sales would be for that.
Yeah, I don't know if they come back as the second opener or something, right?
Yeah, with a different act as the main. Yeah,
like 3 Days Grace is touring again. Bring 10 years or something. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my gosh, I just thought if you had 10 years, Pop Evil, 3 Days Grace would be like a fantastic night.
That would be a lot of fun. I would love that show.
Like all three of the bands are like not my. I think you were just saying this, not my go-to. Like, oh my god, I can't wait to listen to them or can't wait to see them. But having them at a show together would just be a blast.
Yeah.
It'd be so much fun.
I know I'm going to show up to this show. I know I'm going to have a fun time watching the music, hearing the music, watching the crowd, hearing the crowd sing.
Yes.
At all of these shows, the crowds get fucking into it and they sing loud. Yeah. So
because it's all clean vocals. Like you can like you know what they're saying. It's not like a Lorna Shore or something.
I love when the crowd gets involved and sings. Like it makes me so happy. And even though I don't know the song and I'm not singing it, it does put a smile on my face.
You sang last night. I saw it. To Novocaine. I saw you singing, and I love it.
Maybe. Heart-Shaped Box is the one I do like. I did like their rendition of Heart-Shaped Box. The acoustic stuff was really cool as well. We didn't touch on that at all.
Yeah. I don't know the songs non-acoustic, so,
But as a fan, like, it's kind of cool. Like, oh, shit, now we get an acoustic version of this.
Yeah. And we talk about that all the time, where, like, it is really cool when a band does, like, a couple slower things in the middle. Like, I think that's really cool.
Or just new things that you get at a live performance that you don't get. Yeah.
That you wouldn't get those at, like, in a recording.
We're going to do a cover we've never recorded, but we love playing this at our live shows. The crowds get really into it type thing, right? Yeah. So, Heart-Shaped Box, though, is something they recorded, so we were able to add that to the playlist. I love that song by Nirvana, and they did a great job of it. But yeah, I guess what I was saying is it was just a fucking what I was saying, it was just a phenomenal night. I had so much fun, and yeah, can't wait to see him again.
Yeah, me neither.
But yeah, it was like we said, live music. It was better than sitting at home, so can't wait for our next show, and hopefully I'll catch you at the next show.
Yep. Bye.